Step inside for April's fascinating Galician Homestead tour. So long-time viewers of the channel will know that 18 months ago, where I'm standing right now at the top of our land, we planted 200 willow trees for sustainable firewood. And despite a very promising start, unfortunately every single last one of them has died. So this area is completely overgrown by fallen oak trees, gorse, grass, weeds, a load of rubbish. Now, we think that they died probably because the ground was incredibly hard when we were first putting the willows in. So it doesn't look like it's going to be ground that we can really grow anything in. So we're looking for ideas on a postcard, or leave a comment, because I think it'll be quite a lot quicker, of what we could actually do here. We're thinking maybe to have a few beehives, but whether it's too open just here or too windy just here, I don't know. But if you've got any ideas, then we would absolutely love to hear them. Thanks.
Okay, so we're in our 2-acre woodland. It's mainly made up of oak trees and also sweet chestnuts. Well, it's got a few sweet chestnuts up here. Are they sweet chestnuts?
They are sweet chestnuts.
They are sweet chestnuts. Yeah, so they're the ones you can eat. So this is going to be the first area when we move the pigs from down at the bottom of the land up to the top here. When the sun gets a bit higher in the sky and it gets a bit warmer, the trees are coming into leaf now and they'll provide some shade. And the plan is to section this area up to my right and to my left into several pig paddocks, with one central area just there where we'll have their food and their water, with little corridors off to each separate paddock. So what we can do, we can put them in this paddock, for example, for a week, and once they've grazed that down, we can close it up and open this paddock up for a week and let the pigs come into here, all the time maintaining just where Emma's standing, the pig house and their water and their food. And what we plan on doing is perhaps get 5 or 6 of these paddocks, so we can move from paddock 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and then when we get back to paddock 1 again, hopefully all the grass will have grown again and they'll have something to root around.
So you find us at our wood store, which was a lot higher than what it currently is now, and it's a little bit depleted because the weather went bad and it's gone a bit chilly in the evenings again, so we're kind of having to use it. But we're trying to sustainably manage our forest that we've got here. There's quite a few trees that have sort of self-seeded and been allowed to grow over the years, or that have perhaps been planted a bit too close together. So the canopy is a little bit too densely populated with all the leaves and stuff. So some of the trees that are in a good position aren't really able to grow as well as what they should be. So we are sort of thinning it out very gradually, so that the other existing trees can grow a lot better, but also to top up our firewood.
Okay, we're outside our newly extended chicken complex, as I like to call it. we've got a video about us putting up this fencing and putting on the roof up there. I'll leave a card up in the corner, whichever corner it comes out of, who knows, but I'll drop a card there. It seems to be working really well. The chicks are loving it, so they tell me. We can see that the area inside that we intended to be dry is dry, so that's great. So not only have they got all this extra area, they've also got extra dry area when it rains. And let me tell you, the last couple of days it has rained. In fact, we're dodging thunderstorms at the minute. We're out in between thunderstorms. Also, just like to add that we've been fermenting the chicken food, as we've previewed previously in another video. Shall I leave another card? So yeah, we're fermenting the food. The chickens seem to love it. It's a little bit more time consuming for us to do that, but you know, the chickens are getting on with it well, and the eggs are great at the minute. They're lovely and yellow, and they're laying them in the nest box as well, which is a bonus. I don't think that's down to the food, but we'll take it if it is. Okay, so a quick review of the fruit trees. We put some new ones in, and we've got existing ones. These two behind me are apple trees. As you can see, they're nicely well, this one's blossoming. That one is coming into blossom. We've got a quince tree at the back there, which yeah, blossomed really well earlier in the year. So hopefully we'll get quince this year. We didn't last year, so hopefully this will be a good year for the quince. We're going to, this is a plum tree that, again, we didn't have any plums on this last year, but the previous year we did. However, it blossomed really well, and there's loads and loads of little plums on all over it. So if the weather stays wet and warm, hopefully it will hang on to its plums this year, and we'll have a bumper crop of plums. So this is a plum tree that we planted last winter. When did we plant this? We planted this
January last year.
So it's 14 months old. It's died. Yeah, it's a dead tree. So weather, I don't know why it's died. It was quite a dry summer last year, and as you'll see down here, we lost quite a lot of the other trees that were planted. So the next 6 trees were all kiwi trees, and all of them died. There was one male and was it just 4 of them, was there?
Yeah.
4. Yes, there was 1 male and 3 females, and all of them had died. So we're going to have to revisit this, whether it's this area that's too dry, or there's something in the ground, or it was just bad luck and it was a particularly dry summer last year. Then we've got these peach trees, which are alive, but they're suffering again with this pink curly leaf. Apparently it's some sort of fungal infection which they suffered from last year, as you can see. And that one looks a bit healthier, but again it's got a lot of pink curly leaves on it. We need to get whether we can get some spray to put on it to kill the fungus off. I don't know. Something we're going to have to look into, I think. So yeah, not very healthy, even though they're alive. Yeah, you can see on this, look how these leaves are all pink and curly, and red and curly. I mean, if any of you viewers know what we could do with this to try and beat it. And so yes,
don't now touch that other tree.
No. Okay, so that's peach trees which are alive but not very healthy.
And nectarine, 2 peach, 2 nectarine they are.
2 peach, 2 nectarine.
Yeah.
And then we're on to this last 6 here are pear trees. And again, all have died apart from this one. So again, you know, was it the dry summer? Just wasn't enough water for them. Yeah, but they're all dead. They're all dead. Something we're going to have to revisit, because we're really excited about putting these in at the time. So yeah, this one.
Don't touch it.
Oh, sorry. So this one is the only one that's left. Yeah, pear tree. And I don't think that looks particularly healthy.
No, just...
something's eating all the leaves on it. You can see some caterpillar or beetle or something. Perhaps the lesser spotted pear tree beetle has been on it.
So these are our 16 chicks that started hatching around about the 14th of March. So what's that? 6 weeks ago? 7 weeks ago? So they're about 7 weeks old. These are pretty much all going to be for meat. I'd like to say perhaps 3 of them for hens to add to our hen collection. They are housed in our chicken tractor. So this is something that Adam built this time last year, actually in March, and where we always keep our meat chickens. We move it every day. It's got wheels on the back of it. So these wheels, we lift both wheels up on both sides, and that lifts the back of the chicken tractor up. And there's a handle on the front that we then lift to be able to pull it. And we always move it the full length of the actual chicken tractor every day. So they've got fresh grass, it's nice and clean for them, and they're fertilising the land for us as well.
Hey, pig. It's food time again. Not time for food now, is it? Hey, not time for food. So here's Mr. and Mrs. Pig. I don't know if you could tell, but they've certainly grown. How long have they been here now for them? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
No.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
5 weeks. So yeah, so they've been here for 5 weeks. They've certainly grown to the point that we're even a little bit worried or cautious about actually getting in the pens with them, because as you can see, they're quite fast on their feet, and when they run at you and if they catch you, they sort of bowl you off your feet. But they're growing really well. They're doing the job in the field that we want. They're churning it all up. Perhaps one mistake I think we've made is I think we've given them too big an area. So they seem to have their favourite zones that they like to be in, and then they've got other areas which they don't. And I think if we'd have sectioned this up into 4 and then moved them perhaps a week in each one, they would sort of clear that area, because it would be much smaller, they'd be much more concentrated in that area, and they'd clean it out. So I think that's a lesson for another year. We are going to try this weekend and section this area off without them stampeding us to death while we're in there. But they're lovely animals. When the car pulls up, they come running over to see us. In the morning when we call them for their breakfast, they come running out. They always seem really happy to see us, and they do wag their tails like dogs as well. So yeah, I don't want to get attached to them, because ultimately they're going to end up in the freezer and hanging dried. But yeah, I'm really glad we've had pigs. Really glad we've had pigs.
So I'm currently stood inside our outside bed. And this is our onions that we planted at the end of December or the beginning of January, I can't remember. A mixture of red and yellow onions. And as you can see, some of them have already started to go to seed. And we think that this is because we've had some really hot, dry weather, to the point where 3 days ago this ground all here was just really cracked and incredibly dry, to the weather that we've got now when it's pretty much non-stop rain. And we think that they've just gone into a bit of shock and a bit confused, so they've self-preservation basically gone to seed. So the plan is that we will just start eating them ones first. They're probably a bit small as of now, but edible. And we can't really preserve onions once they've gone to seed. They just kind of go to mush quite quickly, so we won't waste them. We'll start getting them eaten. And while I'm stood here, you'll notice that there are also some potatoes growing. And we had a line of potatoes in here last year, and clearly I didn't do a very good job of digging them up, and they've self-seeded all the way along. So on the right just here, this is our purple stem broccoli, which again I've allowed this to start going to seed because I want to collect the seeds from it for next year. We initially brought these with us from the UK and I've run out now, so rather than buying any more, we're going to preserve them and also give some to the neighbours because they all loved it. Some of it is still edible though, it's not all gone to seed. I did do a video about harvesting them a couple of weeks ago. We'll put a card on in case you want to have a look at that one.
All right, John Travolta.
So down here, I mentioned in a video a few weeks ago that I planted some carrots and they weren't doing very well. Now, clearly, some of them now are starting to grow. I have filled the gaps in with some more seeds, so hopefully as these bigger ones start becoming edible, some of my other ones will start coming up. So next along we have garlic, again planted at the end of December, beginning of January, can't remember. Doing really well, very happy. Don't think these will be too long now until they're ready to be eaten. Closely followed by our forest of peas, which is starting to flower. So I don't think that these will be too long before we'll be eating these as well, which is exciting. Ignore this crop, we planted this for the pigs, it's gone to seed, we planted it too late, that's a lesson learnt, ignore it. So in this, what looks like a big muddy mess, there are loads of things planted in here. Like there's spinach, there's parsnip, there's some more carrots, which I can now actually see that are starting to come up, so that's good. Some radishes, and then the plan is to put in here some more peas because we eat quite a lot of peas. We're going to be putting in here some different types of beans, like pinto beans, some runner beans, that kind of thing. Some more carrots, probably some lettuces, you know, the whole lot's going to be going in here. We've also got some more onions that are going to come in here as well. Traditionally, for what our neighbours seem to be doing, we were quite early with our onions and everyone's planted them now, so we've bought another couple of hundred that we're also going to stick in here. So the area that we just showed you spent pretty much the whole of last year under plastic to try and kill some of this nasty couch grass that you can see that I'm currently surrounded by. So this has now been covered up since January, beginning of the year, to try and kill the couch grass that is here. And then the plan is in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to completely fill this with squashes and courgettes and all things like that that are ground covering, so that if there is any grass left over here, ignoring this patch has made its way through a little hole in the plastic, it should completely, what's the word I'm looking for, strangle it, stifle it, cover it, get rid of its light, not allow it to grow. So that's the plan. And also where the pigs currently are, once they've turned that all over, we're going to fill that with sweet potatoes, because we didn't realise the way the sweet potatoes grew with vines that cover all of the ground. So again, anything that the pigs haven't managed to cover, we're going to fill that with sweet potatoes.
Fill it. That's a lot of sweet potatoes.
It is a lot of sweet potatoes, but we quite like sweet potatoes, and also the pigs will like it, and they do sort of store quite well because of their thick skins. So if these pigs don't eat them, the next lot will. So here we are inside our polytunnel, which is 15 metres long by 4 metres wide. It's looking a bit sad and empty at the minute, but we are still early in the season. We have in here some lettuces that have been growing over the winter, and also some tomatoes. These first few, these are cherry tomatoes, and I've had a terrible year with my seeds this year, but I've got these purely because this is where I had my cherry tomatoes last year, and I had about 5 or 6 of them in a big bunch here where a tomato must have fell from the plant last year. I've missed it. We've covered it up with compost when we composted in here a a few months ago, and it's just grown all by itself, so that saved me with my cherry tomatoes, that did. Further down I've got other tomatoes. I'm not 100% sure on the variety of them. Again, some of them are ones that are self-seeded from last year that I've just moved into a place that's more convenient for them, and the rest of them are ones that I've been given by neighbours, so I'm very, very grateful to them. You can see here that I've put some crushed eggshells around the base of the tomatoes, and that's a tip that again has been given to me by the neighbours, and that's for calcium for the tomato plants, and also it keeps the slugs and the pests actually off the plants themselves. So we'll see how well that works for me. So the plan then over the next month or so is that this line here is also going to be completely filled with tomatoes, and then on my left here we did quite well with melons last year, so I'm going to put some more melons in here along with probably some cucumber as well. And peppers. Don't forget my peppers. So as I say, I've not had a very good year with my seeds this year. Now, my brother-in-law has said that it's probably to do with the compost. I've not been able to find some seedling compost that's specifically for seedlings, so this is quite chunky. So he says that that's perhaps not the best. So some of the plants that I have got that are not ready to go out yet, I have potted these up just with soil out the garden, which is what neighbours do. None of our neighbours use seed trays like this. They all just have like little nursery areas inside their polytunnels or their greenhouses. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things, I don't know. So yeah, the tomatoes that I've got in here, the peppers that I've got in here, they're all looking a bit small and sad. Thankfully I have got some pumpkins and some melons and some courgettes, butternut squash, and some sunflowers that are doing a little bit better. So hopefully when it's time for them to go outside, I'll have a few more ready to go.
Okay, so back to the fruit trees. These trees you can see behind us are all apple trees. The first 6 are for eating, the remaining 24 are for cider. And as you can see, they've had lots, well, the first 6 have been in blossom, and it looks as if we're going to get some apples on there. I'm not sure whether we should be encouraging much apple growth on here, much fruit on here, such young trees. I mean, they've only been in the ground here for 12 months, but yeah, they're growing well, apart from that one over there, which looks a little bit dead, but the other 29 are going great guns. So yeah, it's looking good. As you can see, the grass is growing crazily because of all this hot weather, and then wet weather, then hot weather, then wet weather. I've broken the lawnmower again. I think we're going to have to actually take it somewhere and get it fixed, because I've fixed it about, I don't know, 6 or 7 times now, and it just keeps breaking the same thing over and over and over again. So I think we'll have to load it up in the back of the van and take it away to be repaired by a professional. Also, you can see where we had the maize last year. You can still, there's some cobs you can still see on the floor over there. The gardening fairies turned up yesterday and fertilized it for us, and we think the gardening fairy is going to return in the next couple of days and plough it all up so we can get our maize in there ready for this year.
So that summarises our April garden tour.
Hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick run through of everything, how everything's getting on. We'll perhaps do another one at the end of May, and I think you'll see a lot of progress with the plants and things.
So we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.